Yes, we're back. So today, we're talking about some of the top 10 best must-play Switch games and Switch 2 games that I feel like a lot of people have been sleeping on. And of course, some of these games are rare and hidden gems. My name's Ghostlink. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button. I post videos like this every single week. With that being said, feel free to sit back, relax, and let's dive into it. The first game we're going to talk about today is Sorry We're Closed. So this game actually released about a month or two ago. I can't really remember. And I'm actually really surprised that it's not talked about a lot, especially in the horror community, because this game itself is a survival horror game. If you take games like Silent Hill and Persona 3, but add a bunch of really cool neon lights to it, this is what you'll get. And to be quite honest, there's like no real straight storyline to this game. It kind of just unfolds as you go along. But I will say, it's definitely captivating, and really interesting as well. And every character is very well written. Like the NPCs, for example, are actually very interesting. And this game definitely runs smooth. And what I really enjoy about this game is the graphics and the music. It really takes you back to the PS1 days. It has a certain kind of vibe and charm to it. It's really hard to explain, but you gotta play it for yourself. If you're into PS1 style graphics and OG survival horror, this game's definitely for you. I highly recommend checking it out. Number 2 is God Eater 3. This game's so sick and definitely underrated in my opinion. It's an action RPG, and you go on different missions. It definitely has a lot of similarities to the Monster Hunter series, although in this game, as you can tell, it's a lot more futuristic, which I myself am a huge fan of. I love sci-fi. And what's even more impressive is how well this game runs. It looks good and runs very smooth. And of course, if you're playing this game on the Switch 2, it's gonna run that much better. What's really cool too is the graphics and the art style of this game, and the character designs as well. They look really cool. It's got that futuristic anime style, and the battle mechanics are actually very nice. This game isn't too heavy on story. It's mainly focused on gameplay, but it's really fun. So, if you guys are into action RPGs, with the cool anime style graphics and futuristic aesthetics, this one's definitely for you. And if I'm not mistaken, the demo should still be available on the eShop. So go play it, because you're gonna love it. Number 3 is Inescapable. If you're a fan of games like Danganronpa, you're gonna love this one. So this game follows 12 different people who've been captured and taken to this deserted island. And the main plot is, they have 6 months to survive, with no rules and no way to escape. Although, the main twist is, it's being live broadcasted as a TV show, so everybody can see everything. Now it's not this easy, because the fact that it's a TV show, you have to be interesting. And if you're not interesting, they throw things at you to make it interesting, and not in a good way. And that is why this game is rated M. The art style in this game is really good, and same with the voice acting. It's quite impressive. This is one of those games that'll get you hooked right away. And with all the different characters, there's tons of story to cover. Different personalities, you're not sure who's gonna turn on who. It gets pretty crazy. This game is an interactive visual novel, but it definitely doesn't feel that way. It feels like a regular game in my opinion. This is more of a chill laid back type game, but it's definitely addictive in the sense of, you're not sure where the story's gonna go next, and you just have to know. And like I said, it definitely gets crazy. So, if you're into games like Danganronpa, you're gonna love this one. This is another one that I definitely recommend adding to your list. Number 4 is Girl Genius. This game is a true hidden gem in my opinion. You play as this girl who's trying to prove a point to her parents and reclaim her legacy. It takes place in this massive castle, and there's so many different rooms and places to explore. As you can tell, it's a 3D platformer, and it's definitely one of the best I've ever played. The graphics, the music, the battle mechanics, all the cool different puzzles. This game is so sick. It really takes you back to the PS2 days. Games like Sly Cooper, all the classics. Now I will say, the story is not too heavy on this game, which is kind of interesting because this game started out as a comic series, and then got made into a video game. But to be honest, I don't really mind it because the gameplay is pretty spot on, and it's definitely fun and very addictive. So, if you're into 3D platformers, this one's for you. I highly recommend checking it out. Number 5 is Superliminal. Man, this game is a freaking trip. And first and foremost, this game is actually pretty rare and expensive. Although I will say, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're a collector. So this game's a backroom style puzzle game, and it's very interesting. All the different levels, the graphics, all the mechanics and stuff. It's really hard to explain, but when you play this game, you're gonna be like, wow, like how did devs even think about this? You have to stand in certain angles, and when you move certain objects, they grow as you go further away. It's really hard to explain, like I said, but this game is awesome. The jazz music is a total vibe, and the whole atmosphere itself is actually pretty calming. The only frustrating thing about this game is sometimes the puzzles can be pretty hard to solve, but once you get it, man, you feel really good about yourself. And I myself am a huge fan of backroom aesthetics. This game definitely scratches that itch. If you're into games like the Stanley Parable, you're gonna love this one. So I'm not sure when the next sale is, but this game does go on sale quite often on the eShop. So if you don't want to buy the physical version, definitely buy the digital version, because it'll be a lot cheaper, and I promise you'll have a great time. So go play it. Number 6 is Lost Ruins. So this game released about a year ago, and I gotta say, it's definitely one of the best Metroidvania games I've ever played. You play as a girl who's been caught in this dream world, pretty much the Lost Ruins itself, and you meet tons of weird different characters. The battle mechanics are very fun, and the humor itself is pretty hilarious. And what I like most about this game as well is that it's not too massive. I feel like sometimes Metroidvania games are just so freaking massive, they just have like 20 different levels, tons of different areas you can go to, you kind of feel lost. But in this game it's a lot more linear, and like I said, the battle mechanics are actually pretty spot on, and the boss battles too, those are sick. This game's definitely more on the charming side, but it's still badass in my opinion. So, if you're looking for your next Metroidvania game, you gotta play this one, so go check it out. Number 7 is Tokyo Dark Remembrance. This game's another great hidden gem. It's an interactive visual novel, but definitely one of the best of its kind. If you're just getting into visual novels, I highly recommend this one. You play as a female detective who's on the hunt for her missing partner. It's got mystery, horror, a really good soundtrack, amazing cutscenes, and the overall vibe is pretty immersive. This is another one of those games where all the NPCs are actually pretty interesting. And with this game, it doesn't really give you too much story in the beginning. It unfolds even more as you go along. So as you progress, the better it gets. If you're into interactive visual novels with a horror mystery vibe, this one has to be on your list, so go play it. Number 8 is Neptunia and Senran, Ninja Wars. So I myself am a huge Neptunia fan, as well as Senran Kagura, and this game is the perfect blend of both worlds. It's an action RPG, and it's very fun. The graphics, the music, all the different levels, the different characters, this is a very, very well made game, and the humor of both series is spot on. Now I will say, they kinda dumped it down graphics wise, but the gameplay's there, and in my opinion, I'd much rather have good gameplay than better graphics. If you want the best experience, I recommend playing this game on the PS4 or PS5, but if all you have is a Switch, and you're a collector, the Switch version is definitely great. And on the Switch too, it definitely runs a little bit better, but it didn't really enhance graphics wise. But like I said, the gameplay's spot on. If you're a fan of action RPGs, as well as these two series, you guys have to add this one to your list. Number 9 is Adam Wolfe. So this game is a hidden object, point and click adventure game, but don't let that stop you, because this game is definitely interesting in its own ways. You play as this detective who's searching for his missing sister. It blends supernatural, horror, and mystery. The music, the graphics, all the different puzzles. This game is so cool. It's actually very interesting. I've honestly never played a game like this before. And the art style, man, the art style is beautiful in this game. It looks great. And this game as well does unfold over time, so it doesn't give you too much story in the beginning. But as you progress, you find out more and more, and that right there is what keeps you hooked until the very end. If you're into more of the chill laid back games that you can play at the end of the day, but still feels like you're playing an actual real game, this is it. So go play it, because you're gonna love it. And last but not least is Resident Evil the Triple Pack. So this game does come with 4, 5, and 6, although in this video, we're gonna be talking about Resident Evil 6. So when it comes to Resident Evil 6, I feel like nobody talks about that one. Resident Evil 4, which is the game that comes on this cartridge, is the best one in my opinion. And as for Resident Evil 5, we're just not gonna talk about that. That game does not exist to me. Although for Resident Evil 6, I feel like that game got a lot of hate when it first came out. But now looking back on it, and playing it today, it's actually really fun. If you guys are familiar with the Resident Evil movies, like the CGI ones, it definitely plays like that. It feels more cinematic and action-based. Similar to Resident Evil Revelations, the gameplay is actually really fun. And the world design, the aesthetics, it's so cool. Now if you played this game before and didn't like it back then, try it nowadays, with a new perspective. And the game itself isn't too long either, it's about 13 hours. What's even more crazy is that this game was actually supposed to be the last Resident Evil game, and then boom, they came out with Biohazard, which completely revived the entire Resident Evil series, and took it in a whole new direction, and I could not be happier. Now thinking about it, Biohazard is actually the most scariest Resident Evil game in my opinion. That game was freaking terrifying. Anyways, for those that have not played this game in a while, or have never played it at all, I definitely recommend playing this one. You guys are gonna love it. Alright, well there you have it. There's some more games that I definitely recommend playing on your Switch and your Switch 2. If you guys have more recommendations, please let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe. If you guys want to see more videos like this, check out this playlist right here. With that being said, hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and an amazing day. Happy gaming, God bless, and Jesus loves you. Peace!